My fellow Americans, I come before you tonight as a candidate for the vice presidency and as a man whose honesty and integrity has been questioned. The best and only answer to a smear is to tell the truth. I, Senator Nixon, took $18,000 from a group of my supporters. If it was morally wrong, any of that $18,000 went to Senator Nixon for my personal use. If it was secretly given and secretly held, if any of the contributors got special favor for the contributions that they made, it was a secret fund. When I was on Meet the Press, Peter Edson came up to me after the program, and he said, "Dick, about this fund we hear about. Go out and see Dana Smith, who was the administrator of the fund. No contributor to any of my campaign has ever received any consideration that he would not have received as an ordinary constituent. I just don't believe in that, and the records will show that." Some of you will say, "What did you use the fund for, Senator?" First of all, a senator gets $15,000 a year in salary, and then he gets an allowance to handle the people that work in his office. That allowance is not paid to the senator. It's paid directly to the individuals that the senator puts on his payroll. But there are other expenses which are not covered by the government. Well, then the question arises, you say, well, how do you pay for these, and how can you do it legally? The first way is to be a rich man. I don't happen to be a rich man, so another way that is used is to put your wife on the payroll. My opponent does have his wife on the payroll and has had her on his payroll for the past 10 years. I have never done that. Pat Nixon has never been on the government payroll. Some of you may say, well, that's all right, Senator. That's your explanation. But have you got any proof? And I'd like to tell you this evening that just an hour ago, we received an independent audit of this entire fund. I'm proud to be able to report to you tonight, this audit is being forwarded to General Eisenhower. One other thing I probably should tell you, because if I don't, they'll probably be saying this about me too. We did get something again after the election. A man down in Texas heard Pat on the radio mention the fact that our two youngsters would like to have a dog. And believe it or not, the day before we left on this campaign trip, we got a message from the Union Station, Baltimore, saying they had a package for us. It was a little black and white spotted Cocker Spaniel dog in a crate that he'd sent all the way from Texas. And our little girl, Tricia, named it Checker. And you know, the kids, like all kids, love the dog. Regardless of what they say about it, we're going to keep it. Now, I know that this is not the last of the smear. In spite of my explanation tonight, other smears will be made. And the purpose of the smears, I know, is to silence them. Well, they just don't know who they're dealing with. I intend to continue to fight because, you see, I love my country. And I think the only man that can save America at this time is Dwight Eisenhower. Mr. Stevenson can't clean it up. You wouldn't trust the man who made the mess to clean it up. And so I say, Eisenhower, he is the man that can clean up the mess in Washington. The only man who can lead us in this fight to rid the government of both those who are communists and those who have corrupted this government, because Eisenhower, you can be sure, recognizes the problem and he knows how to deal with it. Eisenhower is a great man, believe me. He's a great man. And the vote for Eisenhower is a vote for what's good for America.